Hello, everybody. Welcome to Let's Chat Survivor. I'm your host, Mark. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Marco Polo 310. That's Marco Polo with a K 310. With me is my co-host Saul. And Saul, where can I find you?
Yes, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Perspective, and we're here again to go ahead and dissect the episode 2 of Survivor. And thank you everybody for joining us again, and we're really excited about this episode. A lot of good stuff going on today. Okay, so let's jump into it. Let's just go ahead and start. If we can remember what happened at the end of last episode, can you just catch us up to speed, Mark?
So at the end of the very last episode, Jeff Barner has just flipped to vote out Vetus instead of Ave Maria.
So after the tribal council, we go back to at the beginning of this episode. We go to Takeo. It's the next morning already, and Kelly Wigglesworth is really having a confession about how she feels blindsided by Jeff, and how he turned his back on the alliance that the old school people had at the time. Other than that, was there anything you can pick up from what she was saying in her confessional, Mark?
It's just catching up to her exactly how fast this game is going. And I think she's just struggling a little bit to rationalize everything right now.
Yeah, it's definitely. She is one that we really like, and we really hope that she can catch up to the speed of the game now, and we can go a lot further than hopefully not get blindsided in the future here. Now, right after that, we jump to Kelly Wentworth, who has been hiding that idol, that immunity idol that she found in the first episode, and she hasn't even had a chance to take it out, to look at it, to examine it, to read the notes. So she does get a chance to go ahead and gets a chance to on her own to open it up, and she looks at the idol. And what kind of idol does she have here, Mark?
It's like in the shape of a cross, I think, with like some beads off to the side.
Yeah, it's one of the idols that we are kind of confident it's gonna be an idol. It's not one of these idols that we've heard is gonna be there. That's gonna be there just to throw people off. That's gonna be this little tinfoil or stick or something that someone made there on an island. So it is very convincing. Well, it's not convincing because it's real, but it's not going to be hard to convince somebody that this is a real idol for her to use. So she's happy about it. We had talked about how someone had tweeted a picture of her being happy about this idol, having it in her hands, and actually comparing her to Gollum with the precious precious idol. So right after that, we don't even have that much time. She has her little happy dance there, and we switch to the next scene, and she's already talking to Shireen, Spencer, and Jeff about a new alliance that they've been able to gain with the voting off of Vetus. Now, Jeff right away wants to talk about the next move. He wants to talk about who should go next, and Spencer is happy. He's glad that he's finally has an advantage. He has numbers. He's really in a new place from what he's used to, right, Mark?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Jeff is with them, and right after that, he is showing that he's not with them. He says they're in a comfortable place, but they shouldn't. And I think he's really trying to sell us as the audience as to why he did what he did in the first episode. Mm-hmm. And he says he did it to light a fire under the old school alliance's butts. And right away he talks to Terry. He brings in Terry. He tells Terry, "This is what I did at what I did." Terry is there trying to figure out if he should trust him or not, but really, he doesn't have a choice. He's not in the numbers.
Yeah.
What do you think?
And Jeff also flipped that vote to get in good with the other side, and so, it's just a way for him to get in and try to talk to those people as well.
Yeah, and he tells Terry, Spencer, and Shireen are working really hard. You need to wake up. You need to play. You need to make sure that old school is not. We need to show people that old school can play. Old school is not a weak.
Yeah, they want to show that they're not pushovers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean it looked like it worked. As far as Jeff goes, Terry starts to think about the game. So yeah, well, and then what we talked about earlier is that Jeff gives the best line for me, at least, when it comes to his quotes. And as soon as he finishes talking with Terry, he's like, "Oh, I gotta go look for my for a spy shack," which really is a throwback to one of the recent winners in Tony. And
Yeah.
what do you think about
Hashtag
that?
Team TV.
Yeah, hashtag Team TV, because really, um, we really don't know if Terry's been keeping up with the seasons. We don't know if he's been keeping up with how Survivor's played now, compared to what he was when he was playing. But based on this, I would have to say that Jeff has been keeping up. He's been keeping notes. He knows what's happening. He knows about Tony's spy shack. So all this whole little thing about him being surprised by how fast the game is going is, I think,
Yeah.
a lie. I think he's trying to get us to think that it's going too fast for him. He's trying to get Terry to think it was going too fast for him, but really we can see that he is already thinking in the new school mentality.
And that's the advantage he has of being somebody who hasn't appeared in a long time. That he has this cover to shark other people, to make other people think that he doesn't know the game when he actually has been watching all the seasons.
Yeah.
He has been watching every season since his season, and it shows. And as opposed to Terry, who's probably just read some of the Survivor Wiki pages before he got on.
Yeah, yeah, you can tell he's been keeping up, and I'm glad, because I really do like Jeff. I really do like the way he's coming off in these first couple of episodes. He seems strong, and he's a good guy. I like him, at least, as a player. So we travel to the other tribe, and what's going on over there in Bayonne?
It's basically summer camp.
Yeah, Joe is putting his arts and crafts into play. He's making hammocks for the team, because nobody likes to sleep on the bamboo. And Steven decides to give him a nickname of Survivor MacGyver, because he does everything on time. He started the fire. He helped out. He pretty much won the first immunity challenge, and now he's making hammocks for everybody. And Steven gives a quote here that I really like, because it really shows what kind of player Steven is, way much more than what we saw in his very first episode. And I wanted just to give you an idea of what he said. It might not be word for word, but it's really close. So Steven says, in regards to Joe is the guy who is perfect at this game, wins all the challenges, builds a shelter, and then you slit his neck when you get into the merge. Wow. Really reminds me of Lex in Survivor Africa, when he talks about slitting people's throats. What do you think? What do you think about this comment about Joe?
I mean, it's right on point. I mean, Joe is good in the tribal phase, and when they really need him, and once they merge, and Joe's gonna be chopped liver, basically.
Yeah, and Jeremy said in the first episode that he wanted to team up with Joe, because Joe is a human shield, and we have predicted that as well as people wanting to hang out with him because of airtime. But so far that at least has come true. So we don't spend too much time with Bayonne, because we go right away to Takeo, and it's really much a lot of the same of what happened in the first episode, right?
Yeah.
Just to remind the people here, what happened in the first episode that would trigger what's happening now?
#1 million bracelet.
Yeah, yeah,
The bracelet is coming back into play again, just driving a wedge between Abby Maria and some of the other players, mainly Paigey. Yeah.
yeah. Like I said, this bracelet has really become another contestant on the island already. Number 21. It's causing divides, even if it's not saying anything. It's more than an idol or anything like that. There has had more airtime than any idol on the island right now. But
Yeah.
Abby Maria says she wants to change. She wants to be different. She doesn't want to make the mistakes that she did, like she said in the first episode. But immediately she starts a fight with Beiji. Spencer is asking her about what happened in China. They had made this little chimney to keep the fire going, and so she asked, "How did you guys do that?" And she's like interested in talking to him, because Spencer is a student of the game. He likes the stuff, and he wants to learn more of the stuff. Well, Paige doesn't get any couple of words started when, so what's up? And you can see it in Paige's face, like, wait, what? And then I think she tells her, you really need to like cool down, whatever. And then Paige, Abby Maria's like, I need to what? I need to, she's being real confrontational, to the point where she's starting to rub everybody the wrong way. We see her lounging with later on with Paige and with Spencer, and we see Wu, Savage. I'm not Savage. I'm sorry. Wu, Terry, and Varner talking about something. We don't hear what they're talking about. And she asked Spencer, should I go there and break up their little thing and make them talk of something else, right? And Spencer, I think Spencer knows exactly what he's doing. He goes, yeah, why not? And she goes, okay, yeah, I'll do it. I want to be annoying. And this is when we see Paige give a look to turns to Spencer and is like, wait, what? Why would you want to be annoying? Why would you want to be the person out there that nobody likes? But what would be the reasoning for this, Mark? Why would you want to be that person that nobody likes?
I mean, if you want to consider that as a strategy, I mean, you want people to think that you're going to take to the finals. Then again, this is day like what, 4 or 5, and being this annoying can only make you a target.
Yeah,
but
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, but it's proving to be some sort of a positive here for Abby Maria.
Yeah, we've seen it in the past where people want to be that person, where they want to be the one that nobody likes, so that someone can take them and drag them to the final 2 or final 3. But this is way early into the game for anyone to be thinking, yeah, let me do that, because after a while, you can only do it for so long before people decide that they just want you gone. So but right now, Jeff says that, and he believes it, and I believe it right now, based on the situation that's going on right now, that Abby is the perfect person to take to the final 2, because nobody likes her, nobody wants to be with her, and we can see Jeff thinking about the end game already. We can see him already picturing himself in the final 2, final 3. We don't know what's going to be this year, so that part.
I have to ask you, do you think this is too early of a game point to start thinking about the finals?
I think Jeff has been thinking about this for a long time, and he's already putting in his position, his keys, his pawns in the game already, because we've seen it already. He's making alliances here, he's making alliances there, and so I think for himself, I don't think it's too early, but for other people, it can be way too early, because then they start moving on the plans way too early. They enact something that they really should have waited on before becoming, like, say, annoying or something. So I don't think it's too early for Jeff. it might be too early for other people. Like say we talked about other people on the Bayon tribe, or even for Abby Maria, if her strategy was to be annoying or even to start drama, this is way too early for that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, I think it'll work. I think it'll work out for him in the end. Okay, so we go back to, like you said, summer camp in Bayon, and we hear Savage talking to the tribe about how he met his wife. Okay, mm-hmm. And you see people get teary, get people like really like his story, and we hear something different from Cass, a different side of Cass. And do you buy this side of Cass?
I mean, you're not expecting her to be some sort of like a machine, are you?
Well, see, from interviews that I've seen of her, people do say that she is a really nice person. That she's not the person that we see on Survivor. It's just that when she gets to Survivor, she gets into game mode and she becomes Chaos Cass. And it's something that she said. She didn't like the people she was with in Cagayan. She likes the people she's with right now, so she feels more likely to want to be a better person around them. It's not that poker game that she thought people were gonna be or gonna play going out there. So I think she's seen a different side of the game because of different circumstances of the game, and she wants to be something different. I don't think she's ruling out being Chaos Cass yet, but she's putting that in the back, and that's goes another thing. That's another strategy, that if she's gonna be Chaos Cass and that's her strategy, this is way too early to play. So she's putting it in her pocket, keeping it for a better time to play. So I think she's playing smart in this particular at this particular time.
You know, in an all-star season like this, it doesn't take much to kind of blend into the background because everybody else is playing so hard. Yeah. And just by doing that, just by staying quiet and just going along with everything that's going on, you make yourself a non-target, and I think that's what she's successfully doing here. Yeah.
I think he's working perfectly. The thing is, we haven't had too much time with the Bayon tribe because they've been winning, they've been getting along. So
yeah, it's not where the drama is.
Yeah, so so a little bit of a drama happens here after we see Jeremy leave, because he's starting to, after hearing Savage's story about his wife, he starts to miss his wife. And we have previously said in our previous show that I myself said that I think he's real strong. He can make it to the end, but he's very emotional. He has to keep his emotions in check before, or he won't be able to make it. And we see right now he is struggling because his wife is pregnant, even though I don't think he's told anybody that she's pregnant, because he wants to keep that under wraps in hopes that people will take him to the end. And he just thinks that being a fireman and having a pregnant wife will be an easy way to win the game, and he doesn't want people to think that and not take him to the end. So he's really upset. Not really upset. He's really emotional about missing his wife because she's pregnant. He's missing that right now. And we go back to the tribe and we see Savage. Hey, where's Jeremy? Or should we be surprised about this? Or should we be worried about this? And Steven has something to say about this. So what is it that he says, Mark?
Gosh, I hope he's not out there looking for an idol.
Yeah, he says he thinks that that Jeremy is looking for an idol, and that really rubbed Andrew the wrong way, because Andrew, to begin with, he doesn't trust Steven to begin with. Yeah, and I mean, it feels like he's just looking for something to attack Steven with, to target him with, and I don't know. It might be something he's just lobbing up there just because he knows that Steven's gonna be thinking about this.
But he got pretty personal with it as well. So
yeah, and it is something that we talked about, that in his first season he was strong, he was loyal, he was very committed to the tribe with the people he liked, with the people that were in his alliance, the people he thought were strong. Not so much with people he thinks are weak. or he doesn't like, and it's really turning its head again where he's starting to act that way right now. Not to say he's a bad person or anything like that. It's just that I think that's he just rather hang out with a certain type of people that he really trusts, he really likes, and he doesn't want to give any room for anybody he doesn't like or doesn't trust in the tribe. So yeah, I hope he doesn't do anything to make sure that Steven goes out. But he says that if it's up to him, Steven's out. So fingers crossed that Steven.
That's if they lose immunity, though, and they do have a physically stronger tribe.
They do, yeah, they do. Okay, so once again we leave Bayon because like we said before, it's even though it's the summer camp fun tribe, it's not the TV fun tribe, the drama camp. And once again, this bracelet comes into play because really, Paige is already fed up with all the drama that Abby Maria has caused. So she's talking to Shireen about it, and really, what happens is that Shireen tells her that she's really had to babysit Abby Maria because they can't trust her to be on her own. So Feiju is like, "Oh my God, you've had to spend all that time with her." They're saying pretty much, "I can't believe you've had to do that. Sorry about that," And she just sweeps in. I heard what you just said about me. Why can't you just say that in the face? Which I go that we know the camera. It looked like the cameraman was just there recording, and then all of a sudden she just came. He didn't see her coming. She just swooped in and started the fight. And what was this fight about really? Was it really about the bracelet? What was it about?
Gosh, it was such a blur. She was just there to be like, I heard you guys talk about me, blah 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 blah. It's, once she starts blabbing, with me it comes in one ear, goes out the other.
Yeah, because I know she was upset about them talking about her. Mm-hmm. But it was really, I think she's really in denial on how much conflict she causes, because she was like, I've never talked to you about you, and then that's when Feiji, because you talk about me all the time since we got here, you've accused me about your bracelet, you accused me of this and that, and she just wants to deny everything that she's talked about Paige. So Paige
here tells her she already knows about everybody else, Paige already knows that Abby Maria has already talked to everybody else regarding the bracelet incident. Yeah. So
even though she says she wasn't going to talk about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So Paige knows, and so this big old fight starts, and Shireen, I think she's just like, I'm out of here, and leaves, and they continue arguing, and finally Abby Maria leaves to the beach, and Paige goes back to the shelter, and she can still hear them laughing and talking about Abby Maria. I'm not sure if everything was about Abby Maria, but they were laughing about the situation, at least what happened and so forth. And we see Terry, who's hearing all this. He really doesn't appreciate that even the people in Abby Maria's alliance wouldn't even stand up for her. So he does something different. He actually goes and talks to Abby Maria, which is something different than what we've seen old Terry do, right?
Very, very different. There's a whole new Terry we're seeing here.
Yes, a lot more, a more social-oriented Terry. Because we've said before, Terry is not the best at social games, especially in Panama. While he wasn't mean to anybody, he really didn't bother to connect on a personal level, maybe with one or two people, and that's about it. But the way he talks to people was not always the best. And it might have cost him the game towards the end, but it's good to see that he's finally taken into consideration what his wife told him, what Jeff told him, and he makes a connection with Abby Maria. Not the person you would think someone would make a connection with, but he makes a connection with Abby Maria. She sees him more like a father figure, I think, and she right away opens up to him and tells him she's opened up for other plans than what she's already had.
Yeah.
this leads up to the morning, and I'm pretty sure it's the morning because we had that sepia filter on there, and it's Jeff talking to Ave Maria, and Jeff doesn't hesitate. He right away tells her, "You were talking to Jerry, right?" He's like, "Yeah, he's a good guy," and and he tells her, "You're a joy to have around. I want you around," and this switches Ave Maria's way of thinking, right? I mean, she changes how her tone at that point when Jeff tells her that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she gets happy. She's like, "Oh my god, that's exactly what I wanted to hear." So Jeff is really, really knowing what buttons to push, what to say, when to say it. Once again, showing that he is not as behind in the new school way of thinking as he wants people to believe.
I think he's just reading Ave Maria really well, and he knows that if you're willing to pucker up and kiss Ave Maria's ass, you probably have her vote.
Yeah.
So that's what he did.
Yeah, and so with what he did there, he actually solidified another alliance with Ave Maria and Terry and himself. So he's got alliances here and there, and he's not necessarily lying to anybody. He's just has alliances with several different people and several different numbers.
Yeah.
So from there, this whole fighting incident here, on and off with Feiji and Ave Maria, takes a good portion of the first half of the episode, and we move on to the immunity challenge, and people are surprised to see that Vetus was the one voted out. Once again, we were all surprised with Vetus being voted out.
Oh yeah.
And then he goes on to explain what the challenge is. Mark, can you explain the challenge for us?
So in this challenge, the tribes have to climb over 3 really, really tall A-frames and carrying some ropes with them. And with the ropes, they have to tie them together to pull over a big wooden chest. And within that wooden chest are puzzle pieces that I have to put together in the end for the win.
Yeah, and we see that not only is immunity up for grabs in this challenge, very much like in previous seasons, the very first couple of challenges also have reward to them, and it's a really good reward, right?
It's huge.
Yeah, it's
they needed it.
It's a survival kit pretty much. Toolkit, hammers, hatchets. I don't know if it was nails, but they had a bunch of things that they needed for camp. And not only that, there is materials getting delivered to the camp. So this is a big reward for the challenge itself, and at this early in the game. Now, we see that Bayon takes the lead right away. They get over that first A-frame, and we see Varner struggling to get over these A-frames. He falls on his face after the first one. He flips over the second one, and it looks like he's gonna fall on his back. Slide down the A-frame and hit his back. But we see Spencer grabbing him and helping him turn around the right way, but he's still just sliding down, and I think Jeff says he's leaving skin all over all over the wood there. Yeah. And then right after that, we see a big fall from Savage, and it looked pretty bad.
Yeah, that looked really painful.
Yeah, but he is able to get up. For 51-year-old, 52-year-old, he's
up there.
Yeah, I mean, wow. So Bayon gets to the next stage first, and they're able to start pulling the trunks pretty easily. Takeo's not too far behind when they get to this stage, but we see Bayon really take advantage and get all the treasure chest with the puzzle pieces over this zigzag rail system for that they have to pull. And Takeo really struggles at the very end, where it's just like the treasure chest will not move once it hits one of the angles. It won't move to go back over the last one. So while they're still doing this, Bayon is already at the puzzle pieces. We see Cass and Kimmy already starting the puzzle before they can even get that treasure chest. So they're already working on it. When finally they get the treasure chest, they start working on the puzzle. It's Feiji and Wentworth, and I don't think any of them are getting anywhere with this anytime soon. So Spencer comes in for Kelly, and then Joe comes in and Jeremy comes in for Kimmy and Cass, and then Shireen decides that she wants to come in for Feiji. But before that, she's already yelling at Spencer and at Feiji, and I think she's causing a way more of trouble. But Shireen decides she wants to come in, and we all know how she is with puzzles at the beginning of the game. Worlds apart, she didn't do too well. And right away we see that she's panicking while she's doing the puzzle, and Spencer just like grabs a piece of from her hand and like fixes it because she's like struggling to like take it out, and she just like, corrects it and starts working again. So,
and it looks like they were catching up as well. So
yeah, it actually came really close. And Takeo finishes first. Jeff, we got it. What happens, Mark?
Takeo is wrong.
Yes. Wow. I was like, no, because I was actually cheering for Takeo at this moment. But what was it? They had this puzzle where these two little goddesses, and what happened there?
They were supposed to face each other, but Takeo had them facing the other ways. They basically flipped the positions of the two. So yeah.
So yeah, they had it. They just needed to half and half. They just had to reverse there, and as soon as they say that they're wrong, they show Bayon say they finish and they had it right. And surprise, Takeo goes to loses, and it's their turn to go to tribal council.
And again.
Anything you want to note about the challenge before we go back to camp?
As we've known, the immunity idols this season were going to be hidden at the challenges. And so there was this article from Dalton Ross where he was planning this challenge out with Jeff. Like, they invited Dalton Ross to go in and try to plan where this immunity idol was going to be hidden had Bayon found their clue. And it was going to be hidden at the third and the tallest A-frame. It was going to be at the very top, off to the side. Yeah.
Unluckily for anyone in Bayon, no one found the clue, so that idol never came into play for them, because they do have to find that clue to unlock the idol being hidden at the challenge. So I think we had talked to us at the previous episode here. We don't. There's not going to be multiple idols for each camp, right? Once they find it for their camp, that's it until it's either flushed or played. Okay, so so after the challenge, we go back to camp with Takeo. Of course, we get to see Spencer being glad that finally he has numbers. Finally, he can play with people. He doesn't have to worry about what happened to Elam last time. But we also see Jeff talking to people. Jeff being Jeff. He talks to Wigglesworth. He talks to Feiji, and he asks him, "Would you be willing to vote out Shireen or Spencer?" And it didn't take much. It didn't take much to get him to agree to this.
At this point, it's basically, as long as it's not me, I'll go wherever people want to go.
It's the Sandra Diaz play.
Sandra Diaz toying play, yeah.
Which is she's actually one of my favorite players, even though she's not the most strategic. I just like her a lot. I don't know why, but I really like her. So I welcome that gameplay as long as it's not too much.
There's got to be something to that game if a person can win $2 million off of it, right?
Yeah. So, she just knew when to turn it on. She's one of the people that knows when to turn it on and turn it off. Yeah. So, Jeff brings in Wentworth and tells him the plan. And she goes in. She goes in right away. She knows that she doesn't want to be on the wrong side of numbers. and Jeff warns her about going and talking to Spencer and Shireen, and she's like, "Don't worry, I'm not gonna do anything," because I mean, when we've seen this in the past, when they talk to somebody and they tell them don't do this, and they go and they see that they go do it, guess what? Now they're the target. So I think Kelly did perfect in not going out and warning Shireen and Spencer, although they do find out because of another situation where Shireen is talking with Abby Maria. And can you give us a rundown of exactly what happens with Abby Maria and Shireen?
Shireen basically just wanted to apologize to Abby Maria and try to see if they're still on the same page. And Abby Maria flat out tells her, no, I think I found something better. Yep.
Yeah, she didn't really hide it too well.
No. She just flat out tells Shireen it's basically going to be either Shireen or Spencer that's going home that night.
And it didn't seem like it took too much to take it out of her, and it felt like she really wanted to tell her, and she just took that chance and to tell her. So
she can't keep anything to herself.
Yeah.
Abby Maria just no.
She might be the one person you want to tell a secret to feed false information, maybe.
Yeah.
But not something that you want to really keep under wraps.
No.
So of course Shireen talks to Spencer about what's going on, and really quick we see Spencer's just we see him change in his demeanor, and we see him going from happy to being just really frustrated.
He's completely freaked out. Completely.
Yeah. It's tough to see one of the players that you're cheering for to go through that. Especially when they're on the wrong side of numbers, when they were just on top, you know. But he really starts talking about how his numbers just fall, just like the last time around. I mean, to me it was heartbreaking to see him go through this. What about you?
Yeah, it was tough to see him cry over this, but I mean, he really wanted to do well in the game, and for this to come back to bite him this soon, I think it caught him off guard, and it was very overwhelming for him.
Yeah, and the good thing is that they didn't just go out into the go out of the game like this. Both him and Shireen decide that they're gonna go out swinging, so they try something at least. They go to speak to Wu, and Shireen. This is where we really see what Shireen's really good at. She's really good at analyzing things, and not only that, she's able to actually explain the things. Even though she might talk really fast to the point where she might overwhelm you, she's actually explaining really well what's going to happen. And she tells us, well, they're going to keep them around for now. They're pretty much going to do what Steven said they're going to do to Joe, they're going to do to Wu. It's just keep them around for the challenges, keep them around for camp, and then when it's time to do it, they're going to axe them. And Wu is really reluctant. He tells her Wu does not want to go change, because I mean, first of all, why would you change when you have the numbers, right?
Yeah. As of this moment, it's basically 7-2, and for Wu to consider going over and make it 6-3, it's suicide.
Yeah, and like we've seen before, he's not one to switch, even if it's supposed to benefit him. He's not really one to make that play. Yeah,
he's a loyal to the end kind of guy. And it's good, and it's also bad.
Yeah, and we also
see where this takes him.
And we know that Spencer knows about this already, so I think he let Shireen handle this, because he had this whole thing in his season with Wu, where he called Wu basically a dog. Okay, he's loyal to Tony like a dog. That Wu would only come around when Tony called him to be by his side and stuff. And he turns around and goes, do not vote for him. Tony's the one that owns this. Which was
true to a point. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of want to say that this had to do something to do with Wu not wanting to go with them. But I don't know. What do you think?
Because of Spencer? Because it's just subconsciously he doesn't want to work with Spencer?
Yeah, because, I mean, the things he said were kind of personal too, about Wu at the final tribal. So I don't know. Maybe
It's personal, but it's true. I mean, if Wu can't take it, then whatever.
But do you think Wu sees that though? He considers him as an honorable person, so he's not gonna see what Spencer's talking about. He still thinks he did the right thing.
No, because he has no sense of the game.
Yeah. No self awareness.
Not that he doesn't have self awareness. He's very well aware that he is not in it for the game.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, he's very aware that he's not there to strategize and things like that. And I think he's just gonna try to play the same game and try to get to the end and try to have people take him as a goat, basically, because he knows his image.
Yeah. So now we get to the really bad part where it's Spencer talking about having to turn on Shireen. Although I think they both know that they're both going to vote against each other. He says that he doesn't want to vote against her, but he has to just to try to save himself, and he knows that she'll do the same, which leads to the tribal. Before we talk about tribal, is there anything that I'm leaving out that you want to talk about?
You know, it would have been fun to see Spencer throw a vote to Varner just
to give him a kiss of death.
just to fuck with his head a little bit. And just to be like, where did that vote come from? Who voted for me? What the hell?
Who was it that had? I remember in the past Survivor, they were like, my vote was going to the person who will win the game if they make it to the end, and they gave the vote to I can't remember who it was, but it was a vote just specifically to make people aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
No, not off the top of my head.
Maybe someone can remind us that of who that is. So yeah, so they go to tribal council. Of course, everybody's upset because the second tribal council in what 6 days now. Might be a little bit less than 6 days because these 20 people seasons kind of mess with the days. But we hear Jeff talking to Spencer Shireen about how they feel about the game, and they both pretty much say it's the same thing happening to us. First Shireen says it, and then later on Spencer admits that he's also on the bottom, and Jeff pretty points out, goes, you guys are saying the exact same thing you guys said the first time around. And we see Jeff really compare what happened to Shireen to what happened to Abby Maria. What do you think about this?
But for Shireen, it's apples to oranges. They're not the same. It's not remotely the same.
It's nowhere near being the same, only because Shireen. The attack on Shireen was really personal, really about her character, whereas Feiji's attack on Abby Maria, I can't really say attack. It was more of a reaction of just being fed up with days and days of the way Abby Maria was talking to and treating Feiji. She just got frustrated and just reacted, and I can't see a parallel there. I see the parallel. I get where Jeff was going, whereas when Abby Murray didn't have anyone come up to except for one person. That's what Shireen had in Mike, and but other than that one thing, they didn't really have anything to do with one another or anywhere close to being the same thing.
Yeah.
So anything in the tribal council ring true, or anything that you see that came up in the tribal council that's worth talking about?
Nothing really surprising. The votes went to either Spencer or Shireen. It's just I didn't know it was going to be that close of a split.
Yeah, because they didn't talk about it during the episode. We should split it because I don't think anybody believes that the idol's been found. So why would they split it this way? What do you think is the reasoning behind this? Is it just Splinter or something? Something?
A what?
Is there like a splinter in the alliance or?
Not a splinter. I think it just might be Jeff keeping the two groups separate.
Just on his own.
On his own, I think. Yeah.
Okay, I can see that.
Or they might have just talked about go for either one or the other, but don't. I'm not telling you who to vote for, but vote for one of these two, something like that.
Okay, I can see that working because he doesn't want to be that. He doesn't want to seem like the one that's calling the shots. So like, hey, we're doing this. You guys can vote either way.
and to him, it doesn't really matter which one goes, as long as one of them goes.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. I can see that. So yeah, like you said, the votes go down between Shireen and Spencer, and finally it's Shireen that goes out on a 5-4 vote, really close, and Spencer is relieved that he's still in, and he just pretty much thanks everybody for keeping him around another day.
Do you think that talk saved him? The what he talked about at Tribal Council. Do you think that saved Spencer?
I think it might have saved him for one person because since it came down to one vote, pretty much. I don't know who that would be though, because you already know that even if he gets to know you and talks to you, he's there to play. So how much really would you want to trust somebody that can eliminate you just whenever he thinks it's ready for you to go? And this is me saying this, and I'm rooting for Spencer, and he's on my team, so I want him to go far. But really, why would somebody want to keep him around a little bit longer, especially since he's shown that he's there to play hard?
I think the swing vote was Jeff.
Jeff?
Yeah, because Jeff voted for Shireen. And I think he originally wanted to target Spencer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I think he made a flip there.
He might have.
He might have wanted to keep Spencer because he thinks he can work with him. Now that Spencer is just putting that out there.
Yeah.
In the open. Yeah.
Yeah, we might see in episode 3 like, hey, by the way, I'm the one that switched my vote, and if you're really serious about getting to know people or whatever that, I'm here to talk to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see that too. Any last words about Shireen?
I think she definitely improved her game in comparison with the last time she played. We definitely saw a stronger character, and yeah, it's pretty bad that you're going out second, but I mean, in a season of people that have played before and are all strong characters, I think, even going out second is not something to be ashamed of.
Yeah, definitely. I think even though she was going out second, she made an impact in the game right away. She said that she had a really high and then a really low, right, 1 to 2, Yeah. So I think she considers herself as a successful run, but I know that she didn't have too much fun on her two times out there. What do you think? Do you think she'll come back later on?
Depends on if production is looking for a character like her again. Might not for like a mixed season, but maybe for another like all-star.
Yeah, I can see a full all-star, not like fan versus favorites.
Fan versus favorites maybe. I think I might be able to see her doing well in the fan versus favorites.
I can see her doing well, but I don't know if they would want her there because I don't know. Maybe she might be willing to play with the fans since she herself is a big fan, and they might hold her up higher than anybody else in the fans. But you never know. I actually really started in Worlds Apart not liking her. She was very annoying to me, talking about things she was talking about, and the monkeys. Remember the monkeys?
Monkey sex.
Yeah, monkey sex. So it was just really annoying to me on TV, and I brought it up on our previous show that Then I just started thinking to myself over that season is that I'm a big Survivor fan, and I probably would act the same way as her being out there, but maybe not show it as much as she did. Um, this time around, she was not as annoying. Well, she wasn't really annoying at all, but it was more just her talk, the way she was talking to everybody, the way she was. I think that they identified that she was going to be a strong player if they didn't get rid of her quick. So, I mean, at least she went out swinging. And there is actually a video by Dalton Ross for Entertainment Weekly, where she talks to Sharon, and Rob C's actually there as well. Very funny video. It's a little interview. It's not too long, 5 to 7 minutes, and she talks about something that happened at Tribal Council that didn't air, but it's really supposed to be something that really can lead to a shakeup in the game.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah,
check that out.
If that really happened, I wouldn't be surprised if they talk about the next episode. But I don't know why they wouldn't show it, other than it's something. I'll tell you something. It's something that it's really you're not supposed to do. but it's very interesting video. We'll put the link in the description. So if anybody wants to go ahead and go out and see that video, you can go ahead and see if you haven't seen it. And I really recommend that video. Any final thoughts about the episode itself?
Yeah, another very surprising episode, like twists and turns everywhere. I really enjoyed it, and next episode is going to be pretty epic as well.
Yeah, we have a little bit of another twist coming up, and we had already known about it, but we decided not to talk about it in any of our previous show or on the previous show or in the first episode, just because we know there's people out there who really like not getting spoiled. But if you look behind there why should I put it this way? Behind Mark's head, we have a buff there where it's going to be the third tribe coming in, and Jeff already let us know, and so we're going to go ahead and see what happens with the third tribe. It's really going to mix it up to the point where we really don't know who to pick for our next boot, and I struggle with this. I really did. I can only choose one person, and I'm going back to the same person as we did last week. And last week I had chosen Abby Maria as my vote off. I have to choose her again. The only way I can see her surviving is if she ends up in the same tribe as Jeff, and I really think Jeff was going to try to save her if they do end up in that tribe. So I think she's my safe vote, minus Jeff. Who do you think is going to go out next episode?
See, I mean, I had her picked for elimination for the first 2 episodes, but now that we're really setting the speed of the game and people are just going to try to vote out threats, with a shakeup and a 6-person tribe, I think Savage might be in real danger here.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a social and physical threat, and people are going to see that, and within a 6-person tribe, it's going to be easy to sway the votes to just get rid of him.
Yeah, especially if he rubs somebody in the wrong way with the smaller numbers, where he doesn't have the numbers. Like we talked about, he doesn't always treat the people who he doesn't like the right way. So he might get on the wrong end of somebody there.
That's not too hard for him.
And Marco, you want to keep us up to date on our fantasy points?
And within the Saul versus Mark fantasy draft, because Bayonne won again this week, and Spencer got votes that didn't eliminate him. Saul Vivers has taken on a bigger lead, 29-16.
Yeah, well, let's hopefully we can stay in the lead. Although I'll tell you that I really did have a little bit of a heart attack when Spencer was almost voted out. I was like, oh no, it's just no. So,
are you thinking about trading any players right now, or do you think this is too soon?
I think it's too soon for me right now. We do get penalized if our player gets voted out because we only not only do we lose points for that player getting voted out, we have to spend points to get another player in. So,
yeah. I mean, we can always get rid of that rule. So
I think it's a good rule.
okay, we'll keep
It's a good rule. But what we'll do is we'll have a link to a video where we'll explain the fantasy rules a little bit more. That way, anyone who can keep track of the rules and the points and so forth. Okay. I think we wanted to talk about who we thought our favorite player is, and who we were surprised by the most and so far. And who do you think is the best player so far in the first 2 episodes?
After the first 2 episodes, the best player has to be hands down Jeff Varner.
Yeah,
I mean,
for
what
me
else
too.
can I say?
Yeah, he's got most of the interviews. He's got most of the alliance and the numbers. We're seeing a lot of Varner right now.
He's the godfather of Takeo, honestly.
Yes.
All the action surrounds him and what he does with the people there.
Yeah, getting that Boston Rob Godfather move, and it's actually working for him.
But do you think this 3 tribe thing is gonna hurt him?
It's gonna hurt him right now, but I think he'll still survive enough to where
he can talk his way into it.
He can talk his way into it, and not only that, it's gonna give him a chance to pick up even more allies. So right now, if there was a winner's edit, he has the winner's edit right now. But like we've seen before, sometimes the winner's edit means they're just saving it for later to where he's gonna get booted. So yeah, I mean, I like the guy. I've become a even bigger fan of Jeff Varner, and then just the first 2 episodes, really like his game, really like his both strategic and social game. So yeah, I think you're spot on with the best player of the game so far.
And whose game surprised you the most?
I have to say, I think I was leaning towards one, then I'm leaning towards the other, but it's a toss up between Cass and Steven, but I have to kind of be worried because of we haven't seen so much of them. I think I was really thinking Cass was gonna be more of a problem early on. I chose her as my first person out because of it, but she is keeping calm. She's keeping quiet so far, and the chaos might come out later. But I'm really surprised that she's been able to keep calm so far. Maybe she's not. Maybe we just haven't seen it. But so far, I think she's surprised me the most. How about yourself?
There are actually 2 players that kind of surprised me. In episode 1, of course, it was Kelly Wentworth with that idol. I mean, it was one of the most epic idol moments ever in Survivor history, and she played it off really well. And in episode 2, what Terry was able to do, pulling Ave Maria over, I think that was really impressive as well.
Yeah, especially since we've talked before about him not having that social game steadily for him. So it's not. I don't think it's natural for him. So him turning to that, I can see that. I'm guessing I'm more of a Bayon person, even though I like the Takeo tribe more.
yeah. I like the Takeo people more, but Bayon's just doing such a better job at challenges and surviving and
unity.
Everything. Yeah, they're immunity machine.
Did we see Keith at all this episode by chance?
Keith didn't get much of anything this episode. Padilla didn't get much this episode. Wigglesworth was not seen at all, I don't think.
Just the very beginning.
Just
the very beginning.
The beginning.
Yeah.
After that, the rest of the 40 minutes is we don't
Jeff
see
Varner
any
show.
It's the Jeff Varner show.
Yeah.
The Jeff Varner and Abby show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anything you want to end with the show with?
And yet again, because of Jeff and Abby still being in the game, I think I still think we're gonna see this hashtag $1 million bracelet continue its effect into the game. Because she's gonna continue to talk about it, and when she gets with new people, she's gonna try to throw Paigey under the bus.
Oh yeah, she's
Yeah, and that bracelet incident is gonna come up again and again and again and again and again. Yeah, it's gonna be endless.
Can you imagine the luck for Paigey if she ends up in the same tribe as Abby again?
Oh God.
And
Oh God.
hopefully not, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm pumped for the next episode. I'm ready. I want to talk about it already.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't. I'm speechless as far as to what to say for the next thing.
I really want to find some sort of spoiler as to how the tribes are split up next week.
I really want to do it. I'm really split on doing that because I don't like spoilers, but I've found myself doing it more now since we're having to prepare for the show.
Exactly.
But yeah, we'll see.
Curious.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Well, Mark, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at MarcoPolo310.
And you can find me at Perspective on Instagram and Twitter. Tweet at us. Let us know what you think about the show, about who you think's gonna go on next. Were we right? Are we wrong? Let us know. All right. So we want to go ahead and say good night to everybody. And we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, thank you all for watching the show. Got nothing for you. Go back to camp.